So do you mind first by saying and spelling your first and last name?
David Maue, M-A-U-E.
Okay, it looks like all the auto level is working.
Okay.
Perfect. And you were in the Army?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to say one thing here and then I'll move into you if you don't mind, David. So we are here today, Band of Valor friends, with a very special individual, a Purple Heart recipient who fought for your freedom in Vietnam. Sergeant Maue was with the infantry in 1st Cav?
1st Cav.
1st Cav. But you've heard me flap enough. Let's hear a little bit about you, sir. Where are you from originally?
From the Breeze area. I was born in Breeze at the old hospital. Basically born and raised here. I was gone for a while. My dad had a job in O'Fallon for the dairy.
Okay.
Hauled milk around. So we were in the area around Shiloh. Never did go to modern day high school here.
Okay.
Went to Althoff, and 66 I graduated. And shortly after that, didn't really have an object where I wanted to do, and the draft got me.
Okay,
so,
I was wondering if you got drafted or
yes.
enlisted.
And 69, I went in on August 8th of 69. Got out in 71, spent one tour, 1 year. Cut short because I was close to Christmas and they were de-escalating then in 70. So I got out about a month early. So.
And where were you serving over in
where?
Yeah, where in Vietnam?
War Zone 3, they call it. It's around the Saigon area.
Oh, okay.
And the Cav had moved down 6 months earlier from NK. I think they were stationed up there. And they call us palace guards. We actually worked in the Fishhook and the Parrots Peak areas, big infiltration routes through there. And we were more or less there to try to stop it. We were a big division, a lot of helicopters. So. And Tain was my battalion rear, and that's the way I came in. And after that, I didn't see too much of the rear after that. We were pretty well humping the jungle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And down where you were based, that was a high threat area for the VC, correct?
Yes, it was. Yes.
And
a lot of NVA. Time I got there, the VC pretty well had their back broke after Tet Offensive. They were there yet, but NVA, the regular
was still coming
Army,
down.
was coming down.
Yeah.
They were very close to the Ho Chi Minh Trail at the Parrots Peak. That's where I got wounded in the Parrots Peak area. We were in Cambodia at that time. That's when we had the excursion into Cambodia.
Yeah. But let's before we get to the day you got hurt, landing in Vietnam, do you remember the smells and do you remember the humidity and the heat?
Yeah, it hit you right between the eyes when you open the door.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the humidity and it's a different smell. You know, it's nothing like you have around here. You know, of course you have the humidity, but it's just different. It's a jungle smell. You finally get a kind of immune to that. We were out in it, but yeah, it was different. And you're kind of a lost soul when you get out there because you don't know what's happening. You see the old guys out there, but they race you back to, we got to the 90th replacement in Long Binh, and that's where you get your orders, where you're going to go.
And by old guys, you're probably talking 25, 30.
Yeah, they could have been there just 5 days before me. They were old guy.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have known.
Such an incredible thing for my generation, unfathomable to have all of your officers, well, your warrant officers 20 years old probably on average.
Yeah, I know.
Your senior NCOs were probably...
Yeah, I mean, you got ranked fast there because you had to replace the next guy. You either got wounded, killed, or moved on, and we were always understaffed. Our platoons were always undermanned. You know, didn't have enough guys.
Before the day you were wounded, what did your day-to-day look like? Were you patrolling day-to-day?
Yes, we would. You try to imagine a company. Usually, has 3 platoons, at low side, we're 20 men to a platoon moving through a triple canopy jungle and trying to be stealthy. That's basically what we did. We would get our orders, the CO would get our orders. We got to move this area or this coordinates on the map. And it would be like 8 hours of humping, and you get there and there's nothing. Or you get pinned down by one sniper for 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can't find them. You get guys wounded. You know, it gets hard on you mentally just to be, one guy can do that and you get some people wounded, and sometimes it's just your own friendly fire. Because you're moving people around trying to get them relocated, and you get nothing out of the whole day, you know. And then you do walk into an ambush.
Have you done that multiple times?
Yeah, quite a few times. I mean, there's times that you go for a whole week, don't hear nothing. And you get a whole week, and then every other day it's either the sniper, or you get 3-4 guys just want to throw some lead at you, and they run away. So, but basically that was kind of what it was. You set up a FOB, that's a forward observation base. Put out all your automatic claymores, your automatic ambushes, they call them, and you set up for the night. Everything goes good that night, pick everything back up, start the whole day over again.
Push on.
Yeah. Usually go up to CP. When I was the squad leader, we'd get our maps, coordinates. We go out, we set up, and then we'll set out patrols out. And don't find nothing, or you might get a patrol, did find something, or stumble into a booby trap. But that's kind of basically how our day went. Every third day we would get logged. That would be our helicopter would come in, bring our food, ammunition, rations. Mail call was big. You know. But about every 3 days, 4 days, that'd be the longest, because we had a pack. Time we had sea rations, not so much dehydrated food. It was a lot of weight.
A lot of weight.
Carry a 90-pound pack on your back. So kind of basically the day, you know.
Day after day, same grind.
Unless something came up, CO would get radio. He said, we got to find a landing zone. Something going on. Either the scout pilots found some bunker complex, try to move a company. We had to find some place to get out where the choppers come in, pick us up, and move us to another location. But basically, we would stay out 30 to 35 days, and then back into an LZ where we would kind of, what would you call it? Just lay out. You had to run your security for the little fire base. That's where we had our artillery. But it was about a week of kind of laying around. Regenerating.
We had the same construct in about 2011-12 in Afghanistan. All these outposts all around the mountains that you would get to, and you'd spend about a month patrolling out there, and then come back for a hot chow and a refit, they called it. It wasn't an R&R, but a refit. So about 3 days, but yeah. Okay, so what exact day were you hurt? Do you remember what day you
had shrapnel? And we were in Cambodia. And I was the squad leader at the time, but we were undermanned, and we were going to get a new guy on the M60, and Jim Brady. And he actually came in, I came in January 70, he came in about March, but some reason he had some medical problems, he was in the rear, he come finally back with us, and our platoon commander said, we're going to put him on the 60, he said, you're a squad leader, so, but I was on a gun, I told him, I said, I'm going to work with him, get him, you know, ready to go, and sometimes my memory, we were platoon size. Why we were that? We were only like 22 people, and we we walked out from an LZ. The little birds had spotted a bunker complex. So they sent us out. Why they sent us out, I still don't understand, but we went out and it was getting late, and we were too far out. They didn't want to work us back in the dark. Mm-hmm. So we set up that night, and I had a problem with that. Both of our squad leaders said we're too close to this complex. Mm-hmm. And it was active. It was active. Mm-hmm. I mean, we went inside the complex, and they actually had fires yet that were warm. Mm. So we set up that night, argued with the lieutenant about it, mm-hmm. and he wouldn't budge on it. So we set up that night. And that morning, we got ambushed bad. Mm. My A gunner was going to be the 60. He was killed right next to me. I was wounded with a RPG.
In your sleep, or were you awake?
No,
and
we were awake.
That?
We were just breaking camp. We were just getting ready to leave.
And then you started hearing fires.
And they hit us. And luckily, we moved all the machine guns to the bunker side, and that would most probably saved a lot of lives right there. And when you only had 22 guys, you can't really cover a whole lot of area, you know. And I had a bad taste in my mouth after that. Yeah. I said, they should have never set up there. They should have moved back further. We were in triple canopy, so that takes out any jets, mm-hmm. any kind of backup. We mm-hmm. had artillery, but they were so close to us. And they hit us pretty hard. We lost two. We lost our medic because I was calling the medic up for Jim. He almost died instantly. And then we lost another guy in the second squad. And we had, I was wounded and 3 other people were wounded. And one guy never, Jim, we had to use a jungle, well, we couldn't get a medevac in. I wasn't wounded that bad. I had shrapnel on my hands and they got bandaged up, but they had to use a jungle penetrator, they call it, where you can drop it in, and then you put the wounded in there, strap him in, and then pull him out on the chopper.
Yeah. The cage thing they drop down.
Yes, mm-hmm. That's what they call them. And that's not the best scenario either, because you got a helicopter sitting up there stationary, and mm-hmm. he's a big target. Mm-hmm. But we did move back further away from, they hit us and ran, I think, but we did get the guys out, the wounded, and then later on the KIAs. Yeah. But I was wounded with an RPG round, which I seen him. The only thing I think saved my life was Jim was standing up, getting his stuff together to move, and I was on one knee by the machine gun. And I seen him standing up, and that's when I fell on the gun and started firing. And I don't know if I hit him or not, but he shot the RPG and it hit low. And shoot a shrapnel on it. It penetrated his neck and severed his spine. And I just got I was low enough where I just got some of the shrapnel. Yeah. Yeah. So it was not a good morning. No. If I would have walked up to that lieutenant that morning, I think I would have shot him. It's just my frame of mind that day. And it set my whole rest of my tour up after that.
Did it get worse after that?
Yes, because we were in Cambodia then, and it was one fight every day because we were going up the hill. We've actually found one of the largest caches up there. Yeah. In it was June, May and June, and they fought us all the way up that hill. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I actually got winged again up there. I got hit in they called it the L ambush that morning. One of the NVA took one of our claymores, which they found off the soldier, I guess, and they strapped it on a tree. Wow. Our point man, we were point squad that morning, and I was walking forth, And Popeye, he was our point man. He said, he got everybody down. He said, there's a claymore strapped on a tree. I said, get down. It was command detonated. And luckily, he just got some shrapnel on his helmet, but he lived through it. And we almost walked right into a bunker complex. They were so hidden. And yeah, we had 2 killed that day and 4 wounded.
The day of the Claymore. The day of the Claymore?
Yes.
Yeah.
They would, a lot of times they would ambush, and they would get some guys away from the platoon further killed. They would go through their packs, take whatever they could get.
Yeah.
You know, Claymore, they knew how to work them. They were no dummies.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many months did you sustain that operation going up the hill? Or how many
it was about a month.
About
a month, yeah. And unbelievable the amount of stuff we found up there.
Yeah.
They had connexes buried in the ground.
That stuff was going to come right back down to the next wave of men behind you. So
we found some Mercedes-Benz cars. Yeah,
that's interesting.
I should have brought the paper with me. I just got that from a buddy of mine from Indiana. He sent me everything that was in that cache. Unbelievable.
How'd they get the cars on the hill?
I don't know. Well, the Ho Chi Minh Trail ran through there.
Yeah.
And the trail was big enough for Deuce and a half to drive down. But to find Mercedes-Benz cars, what are you going to do with them in the jungle, you know?
I don't know. They must have been a payment for something. I can't even fathom what they were.
I know.
That's the first I've ever heard of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you bring one home?
No. I did get a rifle. It's up here somewhere. Carl's got it up here. It's back there. SK. Yeah, everybody got one out of the cache. Brand new ones.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I really, really thank you for everything you did. If you could, a few more questions if you don't mind. Is that all right?
Yeah.
If you could get the ear of a high school student right now whose patriotism was wavering, and what would you tell that young man or woman?
Nowadays, the way the wars are, we always go back to World War II. You know, we're fighting for our principles now.
Yes.
Our flag.
Yes.
And not so much that's right and wrong, because what gets us in these wars. Ain't somebody that comes over. We could have easily got in a war after 9/11, which we did, but it was a political war. You do this, you can't do that. We had the no-fire zones and the free-fire zones, which I thought was completely idiotic. But you got to run with your heart, on this, especially a high school student.
Yeah.
I really can't see much right now. What would make him want to put his life on hold, not find a job or not, get a degree in something and join the Army, unless he can maybe use the Army or Air Force, Marines to benefit himself later on in life. Because I don't think you ever, in the military, I don't think you ever degrade yourself.
No.
You can't call it a lost 2 years, a lost 4 years.
No. Because
what you get out of it, it's friendships, people you meet. That was my big thing, and I'll never forget it.
The opportunity to learn, I feel like, is certain.
Yes.
The opportunity to die is there too. It's a lot to ask of a 20-year-old. But.
Yeah. And, you're always out there. They say you're fighting for your country. Yes, that's true, but you're really fighting for the guy next to you, trying to keep him alive, and that still bothers me about Jim. I was there to learn him, and circumstances said no.
Well, you were the old 21 teaching the young 20-year-old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. In fact, last year he was in Florida. We went down there for a family trip, and we found his site out there.
That's
Talked
good.
to his brother.
Wow.
He has a brother, a younger brother. You know how things now with the internet. He found me. You know, it's hard to talk to his brother.
Did it help you?
It
and
helped.
him?
Yeah, it was kind of. It did help me. You know, he said, someday I want you to tell me how he died. And I said, well, I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
So he had no pain, none. So
I know. I can fathom what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen similar.
mhm.
Those are the lucky ones. Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just for me being on my knee and he was standing up, that's the only difference. I could have touched him with my hand. That's how close he was. So, yeah.
Are you okay with? Have you forgiven yourself?
Yes. You know, I couldn't have done any more. The officer on duty that day had his mindset we were going to sit there. You know,
And he may have had orders. Who knows what he was doing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't stay with us too long after that, and I hope him luck. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jim's family and you meeting was Jim's brother and you meeting was probably the catalyst for a lot of healing that's still to come. I believe.
Yeah.
I believe, because I know my father. I'm a generation removed under you, and my father was your generation, and it seemed like they never talked, or my uncles. Nobody ever talked about anything.
Yeah.
And I think talking, and then now some people maybe talk too much, but there's a fine line where you need to get it off your chest.
Exactly.
You can't carry that forever.
My dad, he was in the Navy in World War II. In fact, he was out in Okinawa towards the end there. And I know he's seen stuff. He was on a little destroyer.
Yeah.
And I know when I came back, he said, we'll try what you're going through, but he said, you got to move on. You know, I don't know what he said, I don't know what you've seen. He most likely didn't know what I seen.
Yeah.
You know? But that's the way that generation handled it. You know, you pack it away and you move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important to me that you live out the rest of your days the way you choose and you want.
Well, I started with Bob at Scott Field with like a rap group there, and that helped a lot.
A rap group?
Yeah, more or less for your PTSD.
Wiki rap?
Not that kind of rap group, but
Okay.
a rap group of guys. That's what I always call it. You just sit there and talk and rap, you know. But that helped a lot because the counselor was very helpful with it, you know.
Yeah.
So wants to talk about it, keep your emotions to yourself and just get it out, because it feels like you just finally just like you clean that room out, you know.
Well, I'm a good choir preacher because I don't always practice what I preach, but I know how important it is to talk. And,
Yeah.
I mean, heck, my wife and I have put our lives on hold for 2 years to make sure your stories and those stories are heard, because there's people that need to know that their freedom isn't free. I'm not at all trying to be argumentative, but some of those high school students, I think, you're right, their future is yet undetermined, and coming in the military isn't the answer for everyone. But I think acknowledging this beautiful country we live in and the freedoms we have are need to be remembered.
I always had trouble talking to certain people about it. You know, seeing that you were in the military, I could talk to you better than somebody else that never was in it.
I know.
You know, and that held you back a lot, you know, because they understand what I'm saying. So.
Well, I hope 77,000 people today are paying attention and listening, because it's very important. This man is a hero. This man has nearly given his life. Jim did.
I wouldn't have done this a year ago, I don't think.
The interview? No, I probably wouldn't. Well, a year ago I would have, but a few years ago, no way.
Yeah, I know. I know for sure 2 years ago I wouldn't have.
Yeah. And here we are.
You got the right person talking to you about it. Bob. I know Bob real good. and he flew, I walked.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he, like you said, that big hovering target, that's
The
no
best thing
easy
you could
task
ever
either.
hear was that chopper. And
Yeah. Yeah. I think, well, I wasn't in Vietnam, and please don't take this the wrong way. In Afghanistan, if I ever had a choice to be in an armored vehicle or on foot, I always chose foot.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand being in any kind of truck because you're trapped in there. You can't see what's around you. You're looking through slots.
I know.
And
You know, they had tanks in Vietnam, and that they were just RPG magnets.
yeah, and I think Bob's platform and all of them were too.
And
So I would
choppers,
much
too.
rather be on the ground, I think.
Yeah.
Those guys.
You can't be stealthy in a Huey.
No.
No. Yeah.
I mean, maybe you don't know where it's coming from when it's really low, but you know when it's close or not, and then
Yeah.
you just pick it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My gosh. Well, you're a hero to me, and you're a hero to
Well,
many.
thank you. I mean, heroes, you know, they throw that name around so much now, but
Yeah.
you know the real heroes. You can, you know, everybody's a sports hero now or something else, but yeah, it's an
Those aren't
easy
heroes.
word.
Those
know.
aren't heroes.
No,
Now, Ted Williams was, because he stopped, went
Yeah.
and fought, and then came back.
there is heroes.
There are
in
heroes
sports,
in
yeah.
sports, but
Mm-hmm.
throwing a basketball doesn't make you a hero.
No, no.
Man, it was really, really great meeting you this morning.
Thank you.
Was this too much for you? Is there anything else you'd like to say? I'm really don't want to dig
I'm not
too
real
deep
good
and put you
at just starting
uncomfortable.
something. If you throw something out there, I might, you know, run with it. But other than that, you know, it was a good interview.
Would you do it again? Not Vietnam, but another war. Had a war popped up 15 years later in America.
Well, when
needed you?
9/11 happened, I was ready to go, but I was
Were
in
you?
my 50s then.
Okay. Okay. But when this happened, you said, sign me up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was on my way out of the military then too, and I had my first, well, not retirement orders, separation orders. I was getting out,
Yeah.
and then that happened. I was due to get out like 4 months after that or something. There was no way.
Yeah.
Who do I have to talk to?
Yeah.
What lieutenant colonel do I need to strangle to make sure these orders get canceled?
Yeah.
I was that serious.
Yeah.
I'm staying
Yeah.
in.
It's in your blood, you
Yeah.
know. Once you get in to do your time, I feel like you,
It's the brothers around you. You said it best
Yeah,
right
it
there.
is.
That's really what it is.
yeah, you value in with your life, you know.
Yeah.
And so some good guys out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard when the rotations, you know, you know, we had 1 year, and a lot of times to take the officers, really good officers, rotate them out after 6 months.
Oh man.
Yeah, they ride a desk. Good infantry officers, which I can never understand.
Never understand.
No. But
These are things that are not meant for you and I to understand. We're soldiers.
boy,
We're
that's
just supposed to
the
do
truth,
what we're
you
told.
know. Yeah, and they always say you want to lean on their NCOs, but then again, when that bar comes up, you get some guys, you know, they said the fastest way you can get killed in Nam is a gook with an AK and a second lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Online assaults in a triple canopy jungle. We had that actually wanted to do that. And they said, can't do it, sir.
All night assaults.
Online assault in a
With no
where's
triple
our
canopy,
flanks,
nowhere to
sir?
square.
Where's where we know where
Yeah.
everybody's at?
There's 20 of
Actually,
us. We're in their country. They have
a West
endless
Pointer.
resupplies. We have
A
nothing.
West Pointer. Yep.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they listen
he
to
didn't
us.
get you killed in
No.
your hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really important for Jim's memory for him to mean
Oh
something.
yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're committed to with this
He
mission.
shouldn't have died that day. Me. He shouldn't have died.
But now you get to carry a story.
Yeah.
I recommend when you're feeling you can handle it, maybe reach out to his brother. I think these Gold Star families, they don't understand.
No. And it's, you know, once in a while you think, did this really happen? Well, he sent me pictures of the whole funeral. And it definitely happened, you know. You know, he just got on the helicopter, he flew away, he's all right. No. No. And you forget about the whole family having to grieve over it.
Well, you're still in the sauce. You're still in the middle of a fight. You don't have time to think about your own family, much less someone else's.
Yeah. And why this happened.
Yeah. Well, I sure appreciate you walking down here and meeting us. Thank you, sir.
How many you got to do today?
I'm going to have to ask Angie, but I think about 7.
7? You got
Maybe.
your whole day then.
Hey, I will do this. When I lay down and sleep at night, I maybe have dissimilar but similar memories to you and in dreams. And I don't know why I do this to myself all day as well, but it feels like I felt like patriotism was starting to waver. And I think the right people, the right people, like you were saying, the heroes that can throw a basketball, those are the ones that should be speaking for us because people listen to them, but they're not. They have their own. So it's people like me that need to get our voices large enough so we could punch through all the noise and tell what matters.
And you're a vet too.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
20 years, 4 months, 12 days. Purple Heart recipient as well.
Yeah. You got one of them.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, and welcome home.
You too.